So we are still in the third chapter. So far, we have completed around 29 shlokas of the third chapter. Let me quickly go over what we have learned so far in this third chapter. The third chapter, Arjuna started with a question. Hey Krishna, you're talking about using buddhi yoga or intelligence or jnana yoga, but at the same time, you're asking me to do a ghastly warfare, a terrible warfare. I don't understand. On one side, you are still saying this, you know, you talk about Siddha Prajna, self-realized soul, how they attain peace and everything. But on the other hand, you talk about, uh, you know, performing a war. To me, it is a non-violence. It's a violence, son. It's a violence. So he's asking that questions to Krishna. And Krishna says, hey, Arjuna, I think you are confused. There are two types of yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. Jnana Yoga, Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranita Mataji, welcome to the class.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hope everything is going well.
Yes.
Okay. I just started recapping the third chapter. So the third chapter starts with Arjuna asking a question to Krishna, why you are asking me to do this terrible warfare? You talked about Buddhi Yoga, Jnana Yoga, where people go to the forest aloof and they are they don't do any war or they don't do anything. But on the other hand, you're asking me to do this war. Why? And Krishna, sensing that Arjuna got confused, Krishna started explaining two things. Yeah, Arjuna, there are two yogas. One is Jnana Yoga and the other one is Karma Yoga. And Jnana Yoga is when the people normally, they understand this material world fully. They understand how this material world entangled them. So when they get matured in performing the Karma Yoga at some point in time, they will go to the forest or they will go aloof place and then sit quietly and do in dhyana. But until then, one has to do the Karma Yoga. For you as a Kshatriya, Karma Yoga is the best because prematurely, if you go and do Jnana Yoga somewhere in the forest and beg for food, you will be still fighting because your Swabhava is still there within you. And further, this Karma Yoga is about doing the prescribed duties. Krishna always says, first you do your prescribed duties, then think about other things. And Krishna says, nobody can just sit quietly, even for a kshanam. Nahi kshanamapi, nahi kashchit kshanamapi. Nobody can sit quietly. Everybody has to do some work. What I'm telling you is, do your work. And then Krishna started talking about you do your work with a detachment. And then he went on to saying, do your work with the detachment and offer it to me. Yajnata karmano nyatra. That's what Krishna started saying. And then Krishna said, if you're not able to offer the results to me, at least you offer the results to the other devatas who maintain this whole universe, universal government. You offer to them because of those devatas, you get rain and everything. We have Agni Deva, we have Surya Deva, we have Chandra Bhavan, everything. Because of this life system is being maintained. You at least pay respect to them. At least you bow down to somebody. That's what Krishna says. But ultimately, Krishna in the upcoming chapters, he will say, those who pray to these devatas, you know, um, and they are not up to the standard. But those who do service to me, those who do devotional service to me, they are of high standards and they are high intelligent people. Krishna will say, ultimately, even if you pray to devatas, you are indirectly praying to me. That's what Krishna will say in the subsequent chapters. But here, as of now, you say you at least bow down to somebody. And then Krishna slightly changing his topic, um, stating that um, See, by doing all these things, right? But even if you get so matured by doing karma yoga, by offering the results, by doing without attachment, even if you are matured, you should still continue to do your duty. You should not give up your work and go to the forest. And then Krishna cited in two examples. One is Janaka Maharaj. Janaka Maharaj is also called as a Raja Rishi, right? He he does everything without any attachment. He doesn't need to work. Right? He's a self-realized soul, but he still does to set a real example. And then Krishna also brings himself as an example, stating that, hey, Arjuna, in these three worlds, I don't need to do anything. I have everything. I don't need to desire for anything which I don't have. I have everything, but still I'm doing. I'm setting up as an example. See, I took up the role of a charioteer. I'm doing that role very nicely to set an example. I become a grahastha. I'm maintaining all my 100 uh, 116,000. How many wives does Krishna have? Does anybody know?
16,008 or something.
16,008. So thank you for correcting. 16,000 wives is still maintaining. Is still maintaining as a grahastha. And he has become a father, he has become a grandfather, he's maintaining his, everybody. He's setting it as an example. And he says, if I don't follow my karma, prescribed duty, people will not follow. And the whole world will be ruined. So now, Arjuna, you should also do your duty and you set an example so that people will follow you. Otherwise, people will think, hey, Arjuna himself, did not do his duty. Why should I perform my prescribed duty? I will also do something, I don't care. People will have that attitude and the whole world will be ruined. You are going to set a wrong example. So, Arjuna, you perform your duty without attachment. And then Krishna started saying, hey, Arjuna, if you see a attached worker, a worker who has so much attachment to the fruits of the result, right? Likewise, you also work with same sincerity, but without attachment. And then he compares and contrasts people who work with attachment and people who work without attachment. So we have seen this. So the attached worker who always wants to enjoy his results, more of selfish. But the detached worker who offers the results to Krishna, he desires Krishna's satisfaction. And and then we saw last time um, the difference between okay uh, how to deal with the attached worker. And Krishna says, don't disturb the person who is attached too much to the results of the work. Let them do it. But just involve them in the devotional service slowly, give them some service, and then they get attracted and they will become a devotee or they will uh, get into the karma yoga path and ultimately into bhakti yoga path. So Krishna differentiated between attached worker and detached worker. How attached worker, who is working only for the sense gratification, is always under the modes of material nature. He thinks that he does it, but it is more of nature, goodness or passion or ignorance. It is working on him. But the detached worker, right? He knows about the modes of nature, so he does a devotional service to the Lord. He works similar to the attached worker, but without any attachment to the results. And Krishna says, no, don't disturb those attached workers. But the acharyas explain, we cannot simply be quiet. If we have to go and reach out to the people who are still in the sense gratification mode, we have to tell them, we have to educate them, we have to at least give them, an opportunity to chant the holy name so that they can slowly get out of the sense gratification and come to the path of bhakti yoga. That is what Srila Prabhupada did. When he came to US in 1965, he saw a lot of hippies all around US, and he did only two things. He made them to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he made them to eat prasadam. And then slowly there were dramatic changes in those behavior of hippies, and they became devotees, and they started involving themselves into devotional service, and they started distributing books. They started reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam rigorously, and they started preaching. So that is the thing which Prabhupada did. Though Krishna says, don't disturb them, slowly include them in your devotional service, and then slowly they can change. But the acharyas knows the mindset of Krishna. Krishna, in fact, wants all of us to go back home, back to Godhead, that is Vaikuntha. He is always waiting for us. Knowing Krishna's emotion, knowing Krishna's expectation, the acharyas and senior devotees, they outreach and try to help the people understand um, the importance of being in Krishna consciousness. So that is what we see. And then we briefly talked about uh, what some we briefly talked about Maya and its impact on us. Either if we are still under the mode of ignorance is the lowest, and Rajaguna passion is little better. Sattva guna is very good, but even after that Sattva guna, Shuddha Sattva, that means doing devotional service to the Lord and always working for the Lord, right? That is Shuddha Sattva. When we are in that mode, we we transcend all the gunas, and we won't be under the clutches of Maya. We'll be under Krishna's uh, control, and then we will be under the control of Subhadra, not Bhadra, not Bhadrakali. It will be under Yoga Maya. This is Yoga Maya, and this is Maha Maya. Can you get me? Brain? So that is where we left at a high level. Does anyone have any questions? Is anything confusing? This is another chapter. This may be a little bit tricky one, but I'm trying to put together as easily understandable as possible. Does anyone have any questions? Do you need any clarifications, Kaushalji or Pranitaji, Pratipa, Karan?
Nothing from my side, Prabhuji.
Okay.
No,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Okay. So this is the next shloka is um, is a very, very important shloka. This is like uh, the gist of Bhagavad Gita, or it shows the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. If one follows this, right, that means they are into Bhakti Yoga, and they will be in the good books of Krishna, and we will be out of Maya. So let us, okay. Anyone wants to read this shloka after?
Yeah, I'll repeat after you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Mayi sarvani karmani
Mai sarvani karmani
sanyas yatmachetasa
sannyasyaatmachetamnya
nirashir nirmamo bhutva
nirasir nirmamo bhuvatva
युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः
Yasya Vigata Jaswara.
Jwaraha, yes.
Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims or profiteership, pros- profiteership, and free from leathery fight.
Okay. So Krishna says, surrender all your work unto me with full knowledge of me, with full dependency on me, without desire for profit, with no claims to proprietorship. Proprietorship means ownership. This is mine. That is uh, mamakaram. This is mine. Nirashir means without any asha, right? Without any attachment to the results. And then free from lethargy. Lethargy, jwara hai. Jwara hai means, sometimes we say jwara. Jwara means, fever, feverish, because of, when we are in a position when we do not know what to do, sometimes we'll get a feverish, I'm scared, I'm like a fever, right? Krishna says, just without, free from that type of jwara hai, and then fight, right? This is a very important shloka. Yeah. So far, Krishna talked about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama means no attachment Karma Yoga. And now he is bringing it to the next level of doing it for Krishna. Krishna says, do it for me. Work for me. Right? Work with a dependency on me. Fully depend on me. Now I do work. So for example, um, I do I do some project or anything, right? But I've done my best, and then I leave it to Krishna. Krishna, I depend on you. I'm your servant, right? And you are my master. If you desire so, you give me the success. Otherwise, I will learn from it and I will proceed. I don't have any attachment to it, but I will do my level best, right? And also, whatever I do, right, everything belongs to Krishna, because I may be having a company. The raw materials, everything comes from the nature, right? If there is a glass factory, even the sand and silicon, everything comes from the nature. We are just putting it together and then making some products. Everything comes from Krishna. Yeah, Prabhupada gives a good example, right? There may be a cashier, right, um, in a bank. He may be handling millions of dollars every day, but that money doesn't belong to him, right? He cannot claim any proprietorship, and he also cannot have interest or interest on those money. He cannot uh, develop attachment towards those money because it is not his money, right? At the same time, he cannot stop working. He has to continue his work. He cannot be lethargy, right? With full knowledge of whom? With full knowledge of his boss, right? With full knowledge of the company, organization. Likewise, Krishna is saying, work, do your work nicely, with effort and everything. At the same time, put me in your mind. Do it for me. Do it for my pleasure. Do it for my satisfaction, without any desire for your selfish profit, without no claims for proprietorship, without any feverish or lethargy. Do it for me. That way, it becomes Krishna conscious working. So here the acharyas explain, so karma yoga is like this. Um, you you prepare an, for example, you like alwa. Say, for example, I like alwa. A guest comes, I like the alwa, and then I present it to the guest. I give it to the guest who has come to my home. you know and without any attachment, I'm doing it. I tried my level best. I like this alwa and I'm offering it to my guest. But bhakti yoga is like, a guest has come to my home and I asked my guest, what dessert you want? He may be liking gulab jamun, and I prepare it for his satisfaction. Right? That is the difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga. In karma yoga, we we still work with the desire, but we offer the results. All right. We don't have any attachment, but we still do the work we like. We do the work we like and offer the results to Krishna, or do it without attachment. But in Bhakti Yoga, whatever we do, we think about Krishna's satisfaction. Hey, I'm working this so that I need to maintain my family. I need to bring my family, in Krishna consciousness, so that I have money. I want to buy a house. I want to hold satsang in my house. Um, uh, you know, uh, and conduct programs. I do the same thing as a normal person, but I keep Krishna in my mind. If I do that, that means I'm in the Bhakti Yoga. That is what Krishna says in this shloka. This is a very important shloka. Uh, it says in what mindset Arjuna should fight. Arjuna should not fight, just for himself, right? For kingdom, for having a lot of luxury after winning the kingdom. He should keep Krishna in mind, because Krishna told him to fight it. And also Krishna came to this world to establish dharma. So for that, he has to work for Krishna, because as a Kshatriya, Arjuna has to anyway fight. But he is shifting his conscious. Krishna wants to shift his consciousness from fighting for himself to fighting for Krishna, so that the dharma can be established. And as a side effect, Arjuna will get the kingdom anyway. So Krishna will explaining his original intent. So far, he has been saying, in many shlokas, do it without attachment. Now, Krishna is expressing, do it without attachment, just for my satisfaction. If we are able to follow this in every activity that we do, right? You know, we what if the kids, they want to write an examination, they prepare. They have to just prepare for the examination. They have to leave the results to Krishna, but they have to try their best. Hey, Krishna, I've tried my level best. It is up to you, right? Likewise, we should have a mindset. Let us go to so this is a so Krishna work. This is a way to work without any reactions, because we offer to Krishna, we work for Krishna. So there are few things here. Without selfish desire, sannyasa, that means without any attachment to the fruitive results, selfish desire. Without any nirmama, that is possessiveness. I need it. I want to be successful in this project. I want to be successful in this. If you have so much attention, right? Yeah. Number one, it will create a lot of anxiety. Number two, we may not be able to work with full for potential. But here Krishna says, you do it, but with me, Krishna in the mind, and then offer the results. Whatever Krishna gives, I'm ready to accept. And without any possessiveness to the results. And last thing is, Vigata Jwaraha. Vigata means lethargy or laziness. Krishna says these things. At the same time, Krishna says, in spiritual consciousness, do everything with full knowledge of me, with full dependence on me. I dependent on you. Krishna, I'm doing this, I depend on you. And then with full knowledge, with full spiritual consciousness. That's what Krishna says is work for me. So we will match up with these three gunas. So Krishna, Vigatva Jara means lethargy. Lethargy is a symptom of tamo guna, right? If you sleep too much, and if you're lazy, if you are not interested in doing the productive work and those type of things, right? Tamo guna. And if you have so much attachment to the results, if you want to possess everything, that is more of passion, rajoguna. And then in general, if you work with detachment, it is in the sattva guna. But Krishna wants us to transcend all this. Krishna wants us to do this, all these three. Apart from that, he wants us to work for him, to work with Krishna in our mind, work with Krishna consciousness, work depending on Krishna. That is called as Nirguna. So we do all these things, and if we add Krishna in the center, that means we are out of these gunas. So we have read, in the previous slokas, Prakrite Kriyamanani. See, the spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of the false ego, thinks himself the doer of the activities that are actually carried out by the three modes. So three modes, right? Mode of passion, mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness. We act accordingly when we are in the material platform. But when we work in the material platform, but if our consciousness is placed on Krishna, and if we do it for the satisfaction of the Krishna, and if we do it without any attachment to the results, and we don't claim proprietorship, right? Then we are in the we transcend these three gunas, and we are in the nirguna position. This is a very, very important shloka. It shows the purpose of Gita. If we just understand this, if you try to implement it a little bit, we will see a profound results. Right? That is working without reactions. This is a very, very important shloka. Right? Any questions in this shloka? Okay. So ultimately, there are three things. If you see, if I think I've explained this in the initial classes. There are sambandha, avidejya, and prayojan. So for anything that we do, right, there should be some sambandha relationship. So in terms of devotional service, we should always understand. It is said, I know in our shastras, we should understand our sambandha. Sambandha means a relationship. We should understand, all right, understand our relationship with the Lord, right? We should understand our relationship with the Lord. That is, what is that relationship? Relationship is that I'm a spirit soul, I'm an eternal servant of the Lord. If we need to understand that, right, then we work for Krishna. Abhideha means, um, for example, Shravanam, Kirtanam, right? We do devotional service to please the Lord. We understand our relationship. I understand that I am the son of my father, and then I work for my father. I try to please my father. You know, you know. Likewise, we try to please the Lord by different kinds of devotional service, like chanting the holy name is the primary service, and then hearing, and reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, right? Those are all the things after understanding of relations. And what is the prayojana? Prayojana means what is the fruit? What is the fruit of this? Because of this, we develop love towards the Lord. So uh, this is very three important things. One is a relationship with the Lord, and the process. This is the process for reviving this relationship, reviving the relationship, that is doing devotional service. And the prayojana means what is the outcome of it? The loving, uh, transcendental service, uh, developing prema, that is developing prema or devotional love towards the Lord. Okay. So the purpose of the Gita, duty bound, no doership mentality, no desire to enjoy results. Results of my actions are not mine. So if you think practically also, right? If you put Krishna in the center and if you see how our work will please Krishna, and if you don't get attached to the results, and we will feel very calm, and then we will do better. We'll do the work with full potential. I explained this cashier works for the employee. Nothing is mine. Everything belongs to God, right? See, if you have that mind, right? That's what Prabhupada explains in this shloka. Ultimately, um, you know, whatever material things that we have in this lifetime, we may be a millionaire or billionaire, right? But in the next lifetime, we have to start with $0 only, right? But when we develop Krishna consciousness, when we develop the devotional attitude, when we do bhakti yoga, right? That if we are able to complete only, say, for example, 20 percentage in this lifetime, in the next lifetime, we will start with 21st percentage. That is the reason, right? Many kids, right? If you see, even from the beginning, they will be devotional. It is not like they are exceptional. It's because they have done something in the past. So from the beginning, they're starting where they left off in the previous birth. But in terms of material activities, we cannot be like that. Now, when Alexander, he was once a greatest king, and he was so wealthy, right? And after he died, he wanted three wishes. One is he he wanted his hands to be out of his coffin, showing empty palm, that he is not taking anything with him. And then he wanted all the wealth that he has collected, all the diamonds, gold, silver, everything, emerald, everything he collected. He wanted them, to be mounted near his coffin so that everybody understand that he is not taking anything with him. And then third thing was he wanted all his doctors also to come to his, burial ground to show whatever, whatever they did, it did not work. So that is certain. So what it shows, what he wanted to show is that, right, materially, whatever we earn, we cannot carry it to the next life. But if we earn, Krishna Bhakti in this lifetime, at least we can guarantee that in the next life we'll be born as a human being to continue it. But the best thing is we will do full devotional service this lifetime itself, you know, chanting the holy name, and then doing loving devotional service to the Lord and eating prasadam, those kind of things. At the end of the life, we can go back home, back to Godhead, right? That's very important because that's also Krishna says, Swalpam abhyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In the second chapter, we saw, even if you do little bit of devotional service, you can avoid the greatest danger in the next lifetime. So the greatest next danger in the next lifetime is that we will be born in a animal kingdom. We may be born as a beast, or we may go to Narakaloka, right? We don't know. But at least if you do some extent a devotional service, we are given a chance to continue that devotional service in the next birth. And Krishna says, those who discontinue their devotional service, but they did something in this birth, they'll be born in an orthodox or aristocrat family in the next birth. So they will have a good ambience, good environment to nurture their bhakti, right? But one who has done a lot of bhakti in this birth, but still they could not complete it, they will be born in the family of acharyas, exalted devotees. So I just want to highlight now I'm seeing this one. So the 3.30 is a very nice sloka. A devotee who loves God works to please God without laziness, greed, or possessiveness, and thus does not incur any reactions. Okay, this is about the faith and the God. Okay. We will just read two more shlokas. Anybody wants to read this shloka?
I can try, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Ye me matamidam nityam
Ye me matamidam nityam
anutishtanti manavaha
anutishtanti manavaha
shraddhavanto na suyantaha
shraddhavanto nasuyanto
muchyante muchyante pi karmabihi.
muchyantepi karmabhihi.
Okay, can you read this translation?
Those who, according to my injunction, execute their duties, persons who follow this teaching faithfully without envy, become free from the bondage of fruitive reactions.
Okay, thank you. So here Krishna is saying, so Krishna has given his full instruction in the previous shloka, right? He says, uh, uh, you know, surrender all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, with full dependence on me, without desire for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy. Just do your duty. But now Krishna is saying here, what happens when somebody does not follow that instructions? No, what happens when somebody follows that instruction? In the next shloka, you will say what happens when somebody does not follow that instruction. So whatever Krishna says, right, it is the essence of Veda. What Krishna says, whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you won't find a conflicting ideas in Vedas. Whatever Krishna says, you can find it in Vedas, Upanishads. The Bhagavad Gita itself is called as a Gita Upanishad, where it is said that Krishna, as a Gopa, you know, milk all the Upanishads, 108 Upanishads, and then on behalf of the cow, on behalf of the calf Arjuna, and then what we get is Gita Amrit. What we get is Gita Upanishad, which the devotees can relish. So Krishna says, those who work according to my injunction, according to what I said, follow Krishna with faith. With faith means with having faith in Krishna's words, right? And without enviness. Now, some people will always say, why should I follow Krishna? Why, I'm independent. Not having that type of attitude, right? Then there won't be any bondage. So Krishna talks here about the faith in his words. So Bhagavad Gita, when we try to read Bhagavad Gita, when we have faith in Krishna only, we'll be able to understand. So that is the reason there are a lot of Bhagavad Gitas, right, around the market, written by mundane people. They're not so successful because they don't believe in Krishna and they write their own speculation. But here, when you see Prabhupada and other acharyas, right, Ramanujacharya, they write because they are having 100%, 1000% faith on Krishna and his words. So those are stand even now, right? We should have faith in Krishna's and Krishna's words and Bhagavad Gita. See, I want to narrate a story. Once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited, South India. He went to Sri Rangam like 500 years back, and then he had a darshan of Lord Sri Ranganatha, and then he came out. And then when he came out, he he saw a Brahmana uh, was trying to read Bhagavad Gita, but unfortunately, he was reading the Bhagavad Gita upside down. Uh, he does not know Sanskrit. And the other fellows who were around him, they were laughing at him. They were laughing. He doesn't even know how to hold the book. He does not know how to read. He's reading Bhagavad Gita. What is this? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu closely watched his face, that Brahmana's face. He wants to understand. That Brahmana was crying. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached him. My dear Brahmana, what happened to you? I see that I don't think that I see that you are reading the book, but you're trying to read the book, but you are crying. He said, my dear sir, My guru told me to read Bhagavad Gita every day, but unfortunately, I don't know the Sanskrit. I don't know how to read. But as soon as, but I heard about Bhagavad Gita. But as soon as when I think about Bhagavad Gita, I see Arjuna on the chariot, and Krishna is a charioteer, and Arjuna is commanding Krishna. And having seen, having that sight in my mind, it makes me cry. How that great Lord has become a charioteer, and how he has become a Bhaktavatsala. And just that mood makes me cry, in right? And how the Lord is so mercy, right? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hugged him, embraced him. He said, "You understand the mood of Bhagavad Gita, right?" Likewise, he had so much of faith in his guru. He has so much of faith in Krishna. Leaving aside, he doesn't know Sanskrit. That's a different thing. But he has so much of faith in Krishna, in Krishna's words, in how Krishna is merciful to his devotees. So that type of faith, we should have in order to understand. But Krishna here says, if we do that, there won't be any bondage. We will not get into the bondage of cycle of birth and death, life after life. And this also shows the supreme position of Krishna's, teachings. Krishna said, one who does this, they will not get into the bondage, birth and death of life cycle, birth and death cycle, samsara. Krishna is giving that assurance. That is the supreme position of Krishna. Okay. So this is our thing. Okay. And the other thing, Krishna points out here, faith is that, there is another expression the acharyas give. Now, sometimes when we start doing the devotional service, like I said, in the previous shloka, you do it with Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, when we are in the beginning, right, we may not be able to follow it, right? We may slip down. But Krishna, that's why I said, with faith, when you do it, even if you are not able to do it continuously, it is fine. You try to do it with faith, but over a period of time, you will excel at it. You will do everything with Krishna in his mind, everything, in Krishna conscious mode. Okay. In the beginning of spirituality, one may not fully discharge the injunctions of the Lord. Still, he will surely be promoted to the highest stage if he is not relentful of the principle, work sincerely without consideration of defeat and hopelessness. Right. So something. Okay. I'll stop here. So let me recap what we studied today. I've recapped the fifth chapter, and then we started with the gist of Bhagavad Gita, or the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, whatever you do, keep me in your mind, work with a dependency on me, and offer it to me, and then without any attachment, and not claiming any false proprietorship. And then Krishna has mentioned, if one follows this injunction or is words, they will not get into this bondage. That is a Krishna's assurance. And any questions so far? I want to cover the story of Kulasekara Arva quickly. Okay. I'll take 10 minutes, 9 minutes. So Kulasekara Arva, he was a Chera king. There are three predominant kingdoms in the south: Chera, Chora, and Pandyas. So he was born in the south, more than 1,000 years back. He was one of the 12 Arvas in South India. He was a passionate Rama Bhakta, and he wrote something called as Perumal Tirumuri, which contains only the 105 verses, where it has a section of 10 prabandhams, 10 sections, 10 prabandhams. where he shows the mood of the devotees. And he also wrote something called as in Mukundamala Stotra in Sanskritam as well. So, he was a Kshatriya king, but from the beginning, he was having, you know, devotion towards Lord Srinanatha. You know, every day, when he gets up, right, he wants to go to Srirangam, right? So, um, understanding his position, his chief ministers will send some devotees, Vaishnavas, in front of him. So, on seeing the Vaishnavas, he wants to serve. And then it'll become late. He cannot go to Srirangam. So, next day, you will start, okay, I'm going to go to Srirangam. Because what happens is when you go to Srirangam, you will stay for some time, and all the a king's responsibility will get affected. So the ministers, had the habit of doing this. Whenever king starts, they will send some Vaishnavas. The king will say, I will serve. This so happened. So in the palace, instead of having the warriors, they will have only Vaishnavas, lot of Vaishnavas. So one time, one of the ministers made a trick. So um, Kulashekar Arwar installed Rama deity, Rama Murti, within his palace. And he decorated Rama with a lot of ornaments, expensive jewels, and everything. One of the ministers stole a necklace, diamond necklace, and blamed it on the Vaishnavas. And Kulashekar says, and they complained it to Kulashekar Arwar. Kulashekar Arwar says, you call me as a discriminator, you call me as biased. I don't mind. But to me, a Vaishnava will not do this. This is a wrong. I can't accept this blaming. And then to prove it, you bring a pot of snakes. The pot brought a pot of snakes. He says, and then he just inserted his hand into this pot of snakes. He said, if any of these Vaishnavas have stolen the golden necklace or diamond necklace, let the snakes bite me. And then he kept his hands inside the pot for some time. And when he took out, none of the snakes has bitten him. And then he proved the Vaishnavas, the true Vaishnavas will not involve in this type of stealing business. And the other thing is, every day he used to hear about Ramakatha, Ramayanam. Every day in the morning, he will get up, and then complete all his formalities and everything, Nitya Nishtanam, and then you will go and sit. There will be one Upanyasaka who will come and recite Ramayana. So it so happened one day, he was talking about how Rama was exiled, and the Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita were there in Janasthan. And then how Surpanaga came, and how Lakshman cut the nose of the Surpanaga, and then Surpanaga went to Karadusha, that is her brothers. And then that Upanyasaka, right, he stopped the story. He said, Maharaj, I will continue the story tomorrow. It is getting late for me. And then he left. And also, tomorrow I have to go to another town, but my disciple will continue the story. So this Upanyasaka's disciple continued the story the next day. And this disciple was very energetic. He wanted to impress the king. He did not get the opportunity so far. Throughout the time, his guru was only, taking the discourse. So he wants to explain in detail. So he said, oh, my dear, next day came and he said, my dear king, Rama was alone. And there were on the other side, there were 14,000 Rakshasas with Karadushna. They were so big, and Rama was so soft, and they were having a lot of weapons. And Rama is having only one bow and arrow. Rama is Sukumara, soft, and all those Rakshasas are very hard, and they are on the sky, but Rama is on the ground. And hearing all these things,
டிடிவி தினகரன் தெரிவித்தார்.
Volume matching.
தஞ்சையில் எடப்பாடி பழனிசாமியுடன் இணைந்து பிரச்சாரம் மேற்கொண்ட அவர் தங்களுக்குள் அண்ணன் தம்பி சண்டைதான் என்றும் தற்போது
Okay, sorry. And on hearing all these things, Kuleshekar was very upset. He said, how dare they can attack my Rama? Do they think that there is no one to support my Rama? I am here. I have an army larger than 14,000 soldiers. I will go and protect my Rama. Nobody can touch Rama. Nobody can harm my Rama. So your order is, Senapati. Senapati, just get, bring all the warriors, ground warriors, horse, elephant warriors, everybody. Today we are going there. And then he went inside and got ready. And after a few hours, right, he tried to came out of the palace. And then nobody knows what to do, because when the king issues an order, right, nobody can say no. And this junior disciple of the Upanyasaka does not know what to do. He was in fear. He just ran out of the palace. And then while coming, he met his guru. His guru was returning to see, he came late. And then he explained everything to the guru. And then guru understood the situation. And then on the way, guru also met the ministers. And the ministers explained the situation to the guru. And then guru said, on seeing the guru, King Kuleshekara offered his obeisances and then said, my dear sir, my dear guru, Rama is in trouble. I'm going to save him. He is going to fight with all these Rakshasas alone. Now I have collected all my army. I'm going to protect my Rama. Nobody can touch my Rama. He was emotional. And then the guru said, oh, no, don't worry, Maharaj. I'm just coming from that place only. I hear that Rama won the war. Rama has won the war. He has killed all those Rakshasas. But king could not believe. No, sir. I want to go and see my Rama. I want to make sure that Rama and Sita are safe. And I want to go. And then this guru does not know what to do. He said, oh, see, Guru, see, Kuleshekara, please see the sky. Rama and Sita are there. They are safe. And then when he saw it, just to pacify his devotee, right, Rama and Sita appeared in the sky for Kuleshekara. They appeared. And Rama was having all the bruises in his wounds on his body. And at that time, and Kuleshekara was so emotional. And then on seeing this, Sita Devi, embraced, hugged, Alingaram Rama. So it is Sita Devi is none other than Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi is known to have an amsam of all the herbs. So when she hugged Rama, all the wounds, all the bruises in Rama's body immediately disappeared. On seeing this, Kuleshekara was very happy, and he offered his obeisances to Lord Rama. That is his emotion. See, though even common man knows Ramayana happened, at least a lakh years back. But these Arvars, since they are immersed in bhakti, that's why they are called as Arvars. They don't think logically. For them, God, for them it is as if happened. So that's why they called as Arvars, and they are immersed in bhakti. They also make us immersed in bhakti. Likewise, we will see the story of Periyarvar, who also thinks that Krishna has to be protected, and he will sing a song of a song about protecting Krishna in his song. We will see in the later sessions. And after these incidents, the King Kuleshekara does not have any interest to continue his kingdom. He handed over his kingdom to his son, and then he took his daughter, Shara Kulavalli Nachiyar, and he went around to different places, and he started singing, pasurams on glorifying the Lord. And at one point in time, right, he came to Srirangam, and Lord Sriranganatha, right? Lord Sriranganatha married Kulasekara Alvar's daughter, Shera Kulavalli Nachiyar. And even if you go to Srirangam, you'll find a sannidhi for Shera Kulavalli Nachiyar in Srirangam. So apart from, we know Sri Andal also married to Sriranganatha, right? And same way, Kulasekara Alvar's daughter also married to Sriranganatha. And Kulasekara Alvar is very beautiful. He has expressed the emotion of the devotees in all the 105 shlokas. And I just wrap up in saying in 2 minutes. In one of the, he is known for his metaphors. In one of his prabandhams, he will explain when he surrendered to Lord Tirupati Balaji. He'll say, "Hey Tirupati Balaji, hey Lord Venkateshwara, I want to be born as a fish in your pond." We say in Tirupati there is something called a Swami Pushkarni. Swami Pushkarni means that pond. I want to be as a fish in your pond so that I can be in your proximity. Then he thought, what happens when the pond dries out? Then he said, I want to be a crane nearby. And he thought, a crane may fly away. And he said, I want to be a flower in Tirupati. Then he thought, what happens if somebody plucks the flower and go away? And then he thought, I want to be some sort of twigs that is somewhere here in the Tirupati. He thought that somebody will use it for, for making hot water in Tirupati, right? Then maybe it is very cold. It's normally cold in Tirupati. Then he thought, okay, I want to be a road in Tirupati where people may walk. Then he thought, now people are making a lot of road. There are one road previously. Now there are 2 or 3 roads now. Then he thought, okay, at least I want to be very near to you. At least I want to be a stone, a stepping stone in front of the sanctum sanctorum, in the Garbhagriha, right? In the Venkateshwara temple, you'll see, right? There is, in the Garbhagriha, before you enter into Garbhagriha, there is a big stone. He said, at least I want to be there. At least the people will step on me. And as well as I can see you always. Right? So that is why even now in Tirupati, that stepping stone is called as Kulasekara Padi. Right? That is the natural name. But now in all the temples, even in Sri Venkateshwara temple in Pittsburgh, right? It's also called as Kulasekara Padi. And he also sure. And he also wrote Mukundamala Stotra. That Prabhupada likes this Mukundamala Stotra very much. That's why he has also given commentary on Mukundamala Stotra. It's more about Krishna. It is a very, very nice book where Kulasekara Alvar, pleads to Krishna, hey Krishna, I'm able to chant your holy name nicely now. Please take me, because at the time of death, I don't know what will be my condition. So I want to please take me now. Those type of lot of metaphors, Kulasekara Alvar will explain in this Mukundamala Shostra. These are all Sanskrit shlokas. Okay, that's all I want to cover for today, but we'll continue in depth. There are a lot of other shlokas, in this chapter. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Okay, if nothing else, thank you very much, everyone. Please, if I talk anything, misspoke anything, please forgive me. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to my Guru Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Let us meet next week as well and continue this journey of reading Bhagavad Gita, this yajna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.